Hello and welcome to Riverfront Territory, a Cincinnati Reds show on the Foul Territory Network. I am Trent Rosecrans, a longtime writer for The Athletic, covering the Cincinnati Reds for, well, The Athletic and many others. And I am joined by a man who went 7-2 with a 2.10 ERA as no. Were you a junior when you did this at Brandon High School and then enrolled early because of his academic prowess at the University of Miami? That would be one Mr. Danny Graves. Danny, how are you?
That is some serious research right there. 7-2, yes, my junior year. Our team record was 28-3. So I had two of the three losses. But going into the state final championship game, we were number one in the country, apparently, just from what I'm told. And then we lost in the state finals to a Lake Brantley team from outside Orlando. Jason Varitek was their starting third baseman on that team and was not a switch hitter yet.
Oh, really? He started switch hitting later?
He started switch hitting at Georgia Tech following his senior year at Lake Brantley. Yeah, crazy. That's a nice little nugget, though. 7-2.
7-2, and the team was 20-3?
28-3. Yeah.
Well, that beats my junior year when we were 1-15.
Ooh.
St. Mary's, who won the league, was 15-1.
Oh. Well, at least you had one win.
We did, and we beat the best team. And we played all double headers because the travel time was so long with traffic that was the first game of the double header, and I don't think anybody cared at all about the second. And we lost that one big. But anyway, we have more important things than talking about our high school exploits. One was greater than the other in this show. But one of us, I'm guessing, only one of us, was a first baseman in high school. And that brings us to today. And our topic today, we're talking about first base, and the Reds are kind of made it nice for us because we can combine that with the big news that Eugenio Suárez is back. I think I've probably said enough times that I'm really happy. Like, this was one of the things I was looking forward to. Maybe one of the best fits. I think you've heard me say it a lot, Danny, right? Since the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Offseason. So, what do you think?
Dude, I normally don't respond to a lot of moves that are made in the offseason through Twitter or X or whatever. And somebody posted that he allegedly was signing with the Reds. So I've just put up emojis of clapping hands because I'm so ecstatic. This is amazing for this Reds team, for the city of Cincinnati, the clubhouse. There's not one part of me that's wondering if this was a good deal or not. This was a great signing for the Cincinnati Reds. I can't be more excited for them.
Yeah, it's kind of that near perfect fit. Maybe if you were left-handed, but
there's the one minus. Okay, but
because this is a pretty heavily this team's bats for the most part are right-handed. You have TJ Friedel's a lefty. Besides that, you have JJ Bleday and Will Benson, not guys who are like everyday parts of this lineup. Yeah. So, Eugenio Suárez is going to play some first base, especially in spring. Is going to see how it works. He played a little bit there last year, but he's here to hit, and he's here to hit bombs. It's like Danny Graves at the plate. Homers only. Just dingers. Nothing but dingers. So that's kind of where we are, right? Like, but that's important. This is a guy who had 49 home runs last year. The Reds had 167. So he had almost, I'm going to do a quick math, like a third,
Roughly, yeah.
roughly a third of what this entire team did. So he's going to be a designated hitter, and that's what he's here for, is to hit bombs. And I kind of like him hitting right-handed after Ellie De La Cruz, because if you bring in a lefty to face Ellie, now Gino's numbers were not as good against lefties last year, but he's still a right-handed hitter, and putting him there is kind of nice protection there for Ellie, right?
Absolutely. You say he's here to hit dingers. He's here to protect Ellie, obviously, too. And it's a perfect fit. And yes, they are heavily right-handed, but I feel like we've talked about this plenty of times. The way that the game is these days, relievers have to throw to at least 3 batters unless it's the end of an inning. So, yeah, they're going to be stuck with possibly having a lefty face Gino. And as an opposing manager or pitching coach, I don't want lefties facing him, regardless of what his numbers were last year or recently. I'd much rather have a nasty righty facing Gino if I'm the opposing team. So it's going to be a huge benefit for them. Now, heavily right-handed. Okay, so the top of the lineup where you have TJ Friedel in leadoff spot, and then a righty, and then Ellie, that's probably the only time in the game that you can really have a lefty specialist face this lineup. But there's going to be more than just one time in this game, in these games, that the top of the lineup is going to be up. So it's definitely going to be somewhat of an advantage for these guys. But having Gino in that cleanup spot, man, absolutely huge for this team.
I could unmute myself. That would help. Regardless of anything else, like, that is a big bat. Guy hit 49 homers last year. 2 of them in this park. He's hitting 101 in this park. Only Joey Votto, Jay Bruce, Adam Dunn, and Brandon Phillips have hit more at Great American Ballpark, and I would expect him to catch at least Brandon Phillips with 12 more home runs this year.
Yeah.
So yeah. I just love it from every angle. You know, you love it is where he is in the lineup. You have protection right after Ellie, a big bat that's right-handed, which I like, behind Ellie, because that's keeping him left-handed, and then, you know, it's a guy that just is a presence, and everybody knows what you're getting. You know, there's always, I mean, Danny, you've done it. You've walked into a new clubhouse, and sometimes it's just a matter of getting your bearings straight and where you are. Other than that, it's all baseball players, right? But when you feel comfortable and you walk into places you know, and well, I was texting with Tyler Stevenson yesterday, who was just absolutely excited. Like he was over the moon, and we were kind of talking about how, like, I think it was him, TJ Antone, TJ Friedel, and Tony Santillan may be the only guys who played with Gino. Some other guys, Lodolo, Hunter, were around for some of Gino. But Gino knows everybody else. Like, you know, Rick Stowe knows Gino. He knows all the trainers, everybody you deal with on an everyday basis. And that's a big deal, right, Danny?
It's a huge deal. Gary Wayhoff, traveling secretary, he knows very well. It goes up and down the list. There's so many people that are part of this organization that.
Hey, Danny, you went out again.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there we are. How? All right.
No, I was saying that, from Gary Wayhoff, the traveling secretary, to any of the media people, any of the other clubhouse guys, it's going to be like Gino never left the day that he walks in. Even though there's only a handful of players that he played with, I'm telling you, he's going to walk in this clubhouse and he's going to be the instant leader that he was, and instant smiles on everybody else's faces. even the new kids that are there or the ones that have been around that didn't get to play with him. It's going to be instant magic once he walks in there.
And I know I've said this a million times and kind of belabored this point, but at the trade deadline last year, the 3 teams who wanted Geno the most were the people who had Geno before. And that's not always the case. There are good players who have been there and may fit, but they know too much.
Yeah.
And with Geno, you know enough to know that he's going to fit right in.
Mm-hmm.
He even when he struggled with Seattle last year, he's still good vibes only, man. And he was like that till the end here, and he really did struggle here at the end. So it's good that he's coming back. Everybody knows him. You know, he's a guy that is so outgoing in both English and Spanish. And that's a big deal. And I think, you know, you've seen Ellie do that. Espinal was big about that. Santiago Espinal, I think, is a guy that they're going to miss in the clubhouse. But you replace him with Eugenio Suárez, who is a different, like, Santiago was kind of that quiet guy, but would talk to everybody, led by a great example. You saw Ellie and Noelvi really gravitate towards Santiago Espinal, and you love young guys to be around a guy like that. But now it's a Eugenio Suárez, and this is a guy who speaks loudly and carries a big stick. So that's just pretty exciting.
Yeah. So when you talk about the other teams at the trade deadline that wanted him, I know you've mentioned it, and I 100% agree. This is there's guys that fit, and then there's guys that fit in the clubhouse too. And that's what Geno was. He fit on the field and in the clubhouse. And apparently there was other teams that have offered him the same amount of money that the Reds did, and maybe possibly even more. But he knows where he's comfortable and where he's going to be able to succeed. And you tell me if I'm wrong about this. As far as taking a little bit of pressure off of Ellie, as far as pre and post game interviews or dealing with the media, Geno is going to take that pressure off him just by being there, correct?
Yeah. And Ellie's does some of it. It's not the biggest part of his day as it is for some others, but you do have Geno, and Geno, like, the way with Geno is he enjoys that, but there are guys who enjoy it because they love all the attention on them, and there are guys who enjoy it because that's who they are. You know, you've had teammates that are everywhere there's a TV camera, you see them smiling and joking, and then once the door closes, they're on their own program.
Miserable. Yeah.
We won't name any names.
No, we don't need to. I think everybody knows.
And those who don't are blissfully aware, which is kind of great.
Yeah.
So let's get back to this idea of the lineup. This is the one I kind of threw out there. What do you think about this, Danny? TJ Friedel, Noelvi Marte, maybe Matt McClain later, Ellie De La Cruz, Eugenio Suárez, Spencer Steer. If you have McClain at 2 and he's kind of being Matt McClain, which I think is what you hope. You hope at some point it's Friedel, McClain, De La Cruz, Suárez, Marte. I mean, the other thing this does, if Sal Stewart is your opening day first baseman, he doesn't have to worry about batting cleanup.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that was middle of the order in the playoffs. And he certainly performed. However, over a long season, I just love it. You love Eugenio being there for Sal Stewart. Another guy from South Florida. Eugenio lives in South Florida. Like, it just is such a perfect fit. I
Yeah.
just love it. Sal Stewart doesn't have to worry about being the guy. And you talk about taking pressure off Ellie. I think it does to Sal because we were kind of going into this season saying, well, maybe the big bad is Sal Stewart. Now Sal Stewart can just be a rookie.
Yeah. Yeah. He could just be seen and not heard. Just go out and go about your business
Yeah.
and just play baseball and
Hey,
not have to
Sal,
worry
learn
about
about how to
all
be
the
a big
extra
leaguer.
pressure.
And
Yes.
here's some great examples. Spencer Steer, Tyler Stevenson, Brian Hayes, Eugenio Suárez, even Ellie De La Cruz, TJ Friedel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're talking about. I mean, I know you guys don't know these guys on that daily basis like I do, but that's a good crew. And for anything like your job, my job, when you have a new person come in, that always changes the dynamic, and it doesn't always change it for the better. And you never know, but this is about as good a sure thing as you can imagine as getting a Eugenio Suárez in there.
Yes, this is huge. I love this lineup, and Matt McLean. I think you get him right. He can be back up in the 2-hole. He's a perfect number 2-hole hitter. But any 5, 6, or 7 can be mixed and matched at any point. Like all three of those guys, I think are perfect for those slots in the order. And if Sal Stewart does need to be that RBI guy, at some point he could be in the 5-hole protecting Gino.
Yeah, I mean,
he could be in the 4-hole. Yeah,
I believe in him as a hitter like that.
Yeah,
but you could also like. I know I said that it takes pressure. You said it takes pressure off Ellie. I say it takes pressure off Sal. What about Brian Hayes? It's just like, hey, anything you give us with the bat at this point is a bonus.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about it. Your job is to be the best defensive third baseman in the league, which you already are.
Again.
Again. Just keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully we can get some stuff going with the bat. But that's a bonus.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, looking at this, and this is not meant to be a disrespect to any of the guys at the bottom of the order, but I think you said it perfectly. That if you're going to be down at the bottom of the order in this lineup, it's because they need you to do what you do defensively. And then anything offensively is all gravy. I mean, that's how it used to be. Like, guys at the bottom of the order are, guys that could do some damage, but you're not counting on it. You're counting on them to catch the ball and throw the ball every single day.
Yeah, Juan Castro.
Exactly.
And like, man, you need a Juan Castro on your team. Speaking of great dudes in the clubhouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so like I just kind of I love it. And Gino is
the versatility in this lineup too, by the way.
Right. I mean, this kind of pushes Spencer Steer out to left field. Maybe some second base, maybe a day off for Key Bryan at third.
Yeah.
Maybe in right field, day off for Noelvi. He can DH. Gino's basically going to be a DH because which is great because the last we saw him, I remember them trying to make him a shortstop again, and that did not go well. So it's one that I kind of been just saying all off season. It just makes too much sense, and now it is here. It's not official. He still has to do his physical, but man, I almost think, like, does this change your entire perception of the offseason?
Yes. Well, because when we started doing this show, we talked about some of the needs that this team needed to add in the offseason, and it was extra bullpen help, which they did. Getting outfield help defensively. Now that they got Gino, you put Spencer out in left field. That's getting your extra outfield help that we talked about. And then the power. We were wondering where the power was going to be, where that was going to come from. And then here, you get a guy that hit 49 homers, not just a guy that can hit 20 to 30 homers in a year. This is a guy that's hit 49 2 times. And like, to me, this answers your questions of how to rebuild this team in the offseason. And you just made the clubhouse that much better, which is so hard to do, Trent. Like, you know this. It's so hard to please everybody in that clubhouse. But when you bring a guy like Gino in, I'm telling you, instant smiles from everybody. Instant, like, just excited to be there. I lost you.
Yeah, I muted myself again.
Sorry. You looked like you were saying something really cool, but okay,
I was.
Take two.
Any lip readers out there, don't tell Danny I was just rambling. But no, it is. I keep using that word, but you know, the big thing, the story of the offseason until Sunday night was this team didn't get Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
And Eugenio probably, I don't think it's a diss to say he wasn't as good as Kyle Schwarber last year. I mean, I could think
not many people were.
Yeah, Judge, Raleigh, Shohei. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good list. But was Gino... Well, here's the thing. Schwarber signed 4 years, $150 million. Mm-hmm. So that's a big layout. And with Eugenio, with the Reds, it was going to have to be somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. Well, they got a guy for 1/4 the time, and when both guys' ages start with a 3, that's important. Mm-hmm. So 1/4 of the length of commitment and 1/10 of the financial commitment. And he is much better than either 1/10 or 1/4 of Kyle Schwarber.
Yep. That's a great way to put it.
And the other thing is, you know, you get Jeimer Candelario off the books next year. Gino's a 1-year deal. There are very few bad 1-year deals, in my opinion.
Right.
So,
well,
isn't make too much sense. And one more thing, Danny.
Uh-huh.
You know where Gino is probably going to wind up if he didn't pick the Reds? Perhaps in Pittsburgh. They went after him hard. And so the Pirates, you may not think of them as like one of their Reds' main competition, but they should have a pretty good team. They've got some really good young players coming up. They have a great
starting
staff.
pitching.
And everything we said about what Gino brings to the Reds clubhouse, he would bring to the Pirates clubhouse.
Yeah.
And you're not giving them that. And I think that's really important. So you're better and one of your rivals is not.
Yeah. Well, he would have been protection for the other crews over there, O'Neill crews, and he would have been taking pressure off that everybody in that clubhouse because of who he is. So we're very grateful that he stayed he came back to the Reds. And if I'm not mistaken, is there's a team option for next year at $16 million?
Mutual.
Or is that a mutual option? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So same.
I mean, there's that, you know?
Yeah. And so it's pretty great.
I love it. I love it, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, whenever there's signings or like when the Reds have signed these other guys in the offseason, I try to delve into like their career numbers, even all the extra analytical numbers. For Gino, you don't have to do that because you don't really care about all the extra numbers. Yes, they're very important. Don't get me wrong, but you signed him to hit 49 homers, to drive in some runs, and to be the leader in that clubhouse for all these the core of this team.
Yeah, I think one of the things that you've heard him kind of described as a one-trick pony at this point in his career. But that's a hell of a trick. Like
Yeah,
hitting dingers is a good trick
yeah,
that you keep coming back to see. And let's say what is disappointing from him is 35 homers disappointing, and you go, wait, the dude hit 35 bombs
yeah,
for
yeah.
a team who
Well,
was led by a guy who hit 3 in the second half to finish with 22
yeah,
the year before.
yeah. So in 2024 with Arizona, he hit 30 homers, but it drove in 101. Don't you want guys to drive in 100 runs? Isn't that still a pretty good thing?
It's a good result. It is not how I judge a performance,
No,
but you're glad. Or an
I don't
individual
either.
performance, not an individual thing. Right. I know. That's kind of,
Yeah.
yeah.
But people are saying he's a one trick pony. Like, okay, if people only think he's a homer guy, they don't know who Gino is. Because
and
I think you have to
the behind the scenes stuff I add even.
Right.
But you're right.
That has to be part of his repertoire, part of his resume.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there is nobody in this game I know who doesn't like Gino.
Right. And there's so many guys that don't know Gino that used to play that wish that they knew Gino. Like the way they talk about him. You know?
I've had like Joey Votto and Scooter Gennett both tell me, and I like both dudes, but they're very different dudes. Like both say that's one of their favorite teammates ever.
Yeah. And Joey had a lot of teammates.
Joey had a lot of team-ups. Yeah. But yeah, so it's, I don't know, man. I'm struggling to find something bad about it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is like he's had his time as a good defensive third baseman. You don't need to.
Right.
He's going to work out at first. He's going to be a DH a lot of the time. You're already prepared for Schwarber to be a full-time DH. Gino's pretty much the same, right?
Yeah, and this is the time that I'm okay with pitchers not hitting in the National League anymore because you get a chance to get somebody like this that can just be a DH, but you get his charisma, you get his character back into Cincinnati, into that clubhouse.
You get the good vibes. Good vibes only. Gino, man.
Yeah.
And what's funny to me is Gino's last 2 seasons here was when he really got into that good vibes only, and he wasn't performing well. He was hurt. It was also COVID times, which I think hurt him as well because, I know myself, I do better when I'm around people. I'm more imaginative. I come up with better ideas. I can edit things before I even write them because I talk them through with somebody. Like when it was me and Zach Buchanan, Zach and I were a great team. At least he was a great teammate for me. I won't speak for Zach, but it is such a helpful, it makes you feel at ease. And 2020, 2021, we can all look back on those times, and it was not easy. And it's never easy when you're not performing. You can tell everybody that by experience. Like, I mean, you're one of those same kind of guys, but when it wasn't going well, you weren't you.
Right.
And Gino has shown the ability that when he's not who he is or expected to be on the field, he's still the same guy off the field. And that's really hard in this game.
It's so hard. And I don't think I did that very well. I tried, but it's hard to do. Gino, though, you don't know if he went 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts or if he had a 4-homer game. Like, he's the same guy, the same good vibes guy. And that's special, man. Very special.
And what I love is that another one of those guys, and I've had several teammates tell me this, is Ellie De La Cruz. Like, as long as the team wins, he's great. he's there for the team winning, and even if it's the last out, he's 0 for 4 and they're down 10-0. He's on the top step cheering his teammates on. That's what Eugenio Suárez does. And
Yeah.
those guys are just when you have your best player and your most accomplished player both taking that route, golden.
Watch who else follows.
Yeah. And it's a guy like Matt McLean doesn't have to do as much. So it just takes the burden off everybody else.
Yep.
And I think there's a lot of people who should kind of tip their cap to Nick Krall and Brad Meador.
Yeah.
And I also think this displays something that we talked about when it came to Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber went where he felt most comfortable, right?
Yeah.
And he could have gotten more money elsewhere. Even if the Reds would have matched the Phillies, and they were never going to match the final number from the Phillies, because the Phillies have, speaking of poker like we did last time, they've got the big stack.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing with Gino. He went where he was comfortable.
Yeah.
And this is where the continuity in this organization, the quality of people in this organization, that played a difference. I've talked to a lot of guys have talked about this. When they go somewhere else, they understand how special it can be here.
Yeah.
We could talk to Tucker Barnhart about that. He'll tell us.
Yep.
And he was a guy who didn't know anything different until he went elsewhere, and he goes, "Oh, it is different." And that stuff helps.
Yes. It's always been different in Cincinnati for some reason, Trent. Like, even from when I got traded to Cincinnati, the saying was the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Like, everybody wanted to talk about being traded and going to a team that's winning and not rebuilding. Well, I came from a team that was winning. The mid-90s Indians were beating everybody. They were the best team in baseball during the regular season for a few years. And then I get traded to a team that's rebuilding, and people are like, well, gosh, that must be a shock to the system. Well, yeah, originally at first it was, but then you see how you're treated in the organization, and the people that are in the clubhouse with you every day, it's the same people now that were there before, the Stows, obviously. But, Gary Wayhoff was there. There's a lot of front office people behind the scenes that were there.
Jamie Ramsey. Those guys are the same.
Exactly. And
same people,
these guys
greeting you coming into the clubhouse, same security guards. I mean, you see a lot of familiar faces when you came in for Reds Fest. And there's a lot of people that you knew from your playing days, which was a while ago, Danny.
I remember at Reds Fest, good old Bob, security guard Bob, was he's great. He was, when I was playing, he worked out in the parking lot with us, and then now he's upstairs with the media, and just a great dude there. And you mentioned Larry Herms and Jamie Ramsey, John Reeder. Ramsey and Reeder, both those guys were grounds crew guys when I was playing, and we were very close with the grounds crew guys. So we got to know them, and now they're still there working. Larry Herms has been there for decades. So the organization has been tremendous. So it's not always greener on the other side as people may think. Just because your team is winning or spending a lot of money winning, it doesn't mean that you're going to have success and have a good time playing. Gino's coming back because it's a team that has a chance to win, and he's very comfortable here. Can't blame the dude.
No, it's perfect. Okay, so with that, I know it's funny. We just kind of went on all this, and we're going to go now to what we were talking about, but Gino fits into this, or we're scheduled to talk about, which is first base. Oops, that's a different one. Wrong one. Oh, man.
That was from The Rock.
That was from The Rock. Oh, jeez. Where did I put this? There we go. Look at that.
There you go.
Our first baseman. on the 40 man for now,
Mhm.
because Gino's signing isn't official. He still needs to get a physical, sign the paper, and they must create a spot on the 40 man roster, which could be here. When you're talking about Christian Encarnacion Strand, they just, it's very possible. But on the 40 man, you have
Yeah.
Spencer Steer, who's probably more of an outfielder now, but that super
Mhm.
utility. Tito talked about that at Reds Fest, that he wants him to kind of move around a little bit.
Mhm.
But he's a Gold Glove finalist at first base in his first year at that position. That's something.
Says a lot.
And
Mhm.
and it's kind of nice to have, like, because if with the way we're looking at it, and I don't think this is guaranteed that Sal Stewart's the guy opening day, but I think he's got a good chance. But even if he does have some of those ups and downs, which all rookies do, you've seen some of the most talented rookies come up and have their issues and then go back down,
Yeah.
or just kind of struggle. And I mean, there's few better people to have on your side there than Eugenio Suárez, Spencer
Yeah.
Steer, Tyler Stevenson, some guys who've been there and done that. But if something happens with Stewart, you have Spencer who can go there. Then you have the other outfielders in that. Eugenio is going to play some first base in spring training, see how he does. He's played a little there, but he's probably behind Spencer Steer at third base. I don't know about Sal, but at third base. But you just don't need to worry him about doing anything but hitting dingers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Gino
I think I think the guarantee here is that Gino's not signed to play third base because
right.
they already have the best third baseman in baseball. So
defensively.
Yeah, defensively, correct. So yeah, Gino's here to hit dingers. He's here to play first occasionally, third occasionally, and DH a lot. And then if something happens that has to change, then Tito will make it work. This is a kind of a good problem to have, where you have guys that can play multiple positions and still succeed, even though it's not their best position. And then you have guys that could fill in an outfield if Spencer Steer needs to go back to first base. There's this thing called depth. Well, having depth helps your team get better throughout the season because everybody's going to need it at some point. And hopefully Sal Stewart can be the guy that plays 150 plus games at first base. But if he's not, you have guys that can step in and help.
And one of these guys that I think is now even more interesting, and he's been something I've been watching, I've been thinking about all spring, is Michael Toglia. He's a switch hitter, left-handed, can play some outfield and first base. He's an intriguing player now. That maybe if Sal has a slow spring, I don't expect it, but that's a pretty good backup guy. That's a guy who's hit some home runs, has some power. It's really interesting. And he's going to be in camp as a non-roster invitee.
Dude, you mentioned him now. That's a perfect guy if Sal Stewart is the everyday guy and he goes through this little slump, as everybody does. And, Toglia could be the guy pinch hitting for Sal Stewart, being that switch hitter. Now the other team can't manipulate their bullpen how they want to, and kind of just throws them off defensively. So that's a perfect guy to have if he can make this team. But that's another thing. I just got chills. That depth. Yeah. I love depth.
And there's some depth. Christian Encarnacion Strand is a guy who had a bobblehead. And everything we're saying about Sal Stewart, a lot of people were saying about Christian Encarnacion Strand a couple years ago.
Yeah. Very true.
They're not the same person. They're not whatever. But just keep that in mind, that you never know.
Right. And CES could be somebody different come spring training this year.
He could come into spring training and just, be this
lights out.
Great bat. That's if he's still on the roster tomorrow. Because I could see that as kind of where they are.
A possibility. Yeah.
and I
Well,
know I've had some scouts reach out to me and ask me about him and stuff like that, because I think a lot of people have seen that on the writing on the wall.
yeah.
But
Well,
hey, that's this game.
that's baseball. Yeah.
Like the Corky Miller story. Don't like it, play worse.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
And
it's unfortunate, but that's part of the game.
then Cam Collier is a guy who's a little bit further behind than South Stewart, younger. Like
But
you, uh, did not play his senior year of high school because he went to junior college and as a junior, and then went into the draft his senior year. But that's a guy that's a pretty good bat, and it's still a very young player, a player that can hit and will hit.
He's like what, 19 or 20, right?
He's 20, I think,
Okay.
now, but he is not old, because he's always been younger. He's 21 actually.
Yeah. Okay.
He turned 21 in November, but
Okay.
he's 21 with 1,400 minor league plate appearances.
Yeah, because he got drafted at 17, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, and so he's got 1,400 minor league plate appearances plus about 100 fall league appearances. So that's 1,500 real at bats is in pro baseball.
And he just turned 21. Man.
Yeah. I mean, there are very few drafted players who have that many plate appearances at that age. I mean,
Yeah.
Bryce Harper was one of them because he did the same kind of thing, but that's it. Not a big list.
That's like going the hockey route. Like guys get drafted or signed so young, and then they play all these junior league and minor league hockey games.
There's Hockey Dad coming out. Hockey Dad.
Yeah.
Danny Graves.
Yeah. It's terrible. I can't stop it.
No, it's great.
But it's the excitement. Yeah, I'm excited about this team.
I right? Like, even at first base, it's just such a bigger difference than it was. I mean, and I think we were all excited about South Stewart, deservedly so. I mean, the guy's done nothing to make you not excited. But then you talk about depth. Tolia is a guy. Cam Collier's youth. These minor leaguers, Ruben Ibarra and John Michael Falley are guys who have just hit as in the minor leagues. Ruben Ibarra, you know Ruben, right? Did you watch him play it? He went to Miami, right?
I don't. No.
Okay, I'm pretty sure he was.
Oh, he did? No, I don't. Maybe.
Why did I think? No,
Recently?
he was not. No, I'm sorry. He went to San Jose State. San Jose, Miami.
Okay.
Close. Both ACC areas.
Yeah.
Now, Ruben Ibarra is a guy listed as 6'3", 290.
Whoa.
So yeah, he's not the guy that you're modeling the uniform with, but he hits. I mean, he got to Chattanooga last year, and Chattanooga, he had a 818 OPS, 21 homers, 348 on base, 470 slug. Dude hits. And when you can hit, you can hit. It doesn't matter what you look like or pitch,
Well, I was going to say, pitchers used to be really chubby, and nobody cared as long as we got outs.
Were you in the same bullpen with Big Sweat?
I definitely was.
I just kind of like to see you two together.
Well, when I played with Big Sweat, I was skinny. Like I was in
I
shape.
know.
So
I know. That's why I'm thinking about it. Dennis
yeah,
Reyes, for those who don't know, Big Sweat.
yeah.
Um,
The
one of the
greatest
most
nickname in
appropriate.
all of baseball.
It's up there. It really is. Have you ever had,
Yeah.
besides Gravy, have you ever had a good nickname?
Baby-faced assassin.
Babyface Assassin's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah. Dion gave me that. Primetime gave me that nickname.
Well, hell, you can't beat
Yeah.
that. Not only do
I
you have
know.
a good nickname, but you have a heck of a story from it.
Yeah.
Like,
Deion
yeah,
Sanders. I'm telling you.
Prime gave it to you. Coach Prime
Yeah.
gave
Yep.
it to you. You're good.
So
My
yep.
favorite, we had a writer. I will not mention his name. He did not cover the Reds. Known as the arch enemy of silence. And that one's tough to beat. I just
Arch
love it
enemy. Yeah. Listen, good nicknames are
when
hard to
you're in
come
a
by.
press box with somebody for hours and hours and days and weeks and yeah.
I got to
I'd
hear
hate
more
to hear
stories
my-
about the press box, dude.
Oof.
Seriously.
Well, I mean, you could be a credentialed media. You can come up here.
Yes. Yes. The only problem is when I do go in the press box, I talk to too many people and I never get to like hang out with just one person or two people.
Yeah, if you come more than one day, like because after one day, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, we saw Danny. What's he still doing?
Yeah, we talked to that clown already.
But we got rid of him. One day
Yeah.
we can smile.
Yeah.
The rest.
He's usually not here this long. Why is he still here?
So, and then they'll know Power of Foul Territory Network and Riverfront Territory. I was trying to remember.
That's right.
Show.
That's right.
But I do remember it because you can email us at riverfrontterritory@gmail.com. And if you have any questions, anything you want to say, suggestions, whatever, you can do that. You can also leave a review wherever you get your shows, whether it's YouTube, whatever podcasts app you use. Apple Podcast would be great. Just say something nice. Just say how much you love Riverfront Territory, which is part of the Foul Territory Network.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much it. I mean, we were supposed to talk about first base. Okay, Sal Stewart, good. Spencer Steer could play a really good first base. Eugenio Suárez. I mean, this is a pretty deep spot for him. Michael Tolio is my sleeper.
Sleeper, yeah, love that.
I just like how he fits. When you're talking about having a dearth of left-handed bats, having a switch hitter to play first and the outfield, it's as versatile as you can be left-handed.
Yeah,
throw in it as a reliever as well.
It's really a huge plus to have a switch hitting guy coming off the bench.
Yeah, no, I mean it is a huge advantage on the bench.
Huge.
And that's because, especially if it's a guy who's mostly a bench guy.
Mm-hmm.
Every day he's training for both. He knows that he has to be one or the other. Can figure it out. I like it a lot.
Well, the biggest thing about these guys is, like The Rock says, know your role, right? Mm-hmm. You got to know your role, and then you can be happy and just go play when you need to.
Well, yeah, there you go. The guy who taught LeBron James how to focus on being a professional and also scouted The Rock and told him that maybe wrestling was in his future. My co-host, Danny Graves. I am C. Trent Rosecrans, and we will see you later this week. Hopefully, we'll hear from Eugenio Suárez, the man, the myth, the legend. That gets all official, and we'll talk about maybe second base. So,
all right,
there we go. Another episode done. Please subscribe, rate, review, all that jazz. and for the Rock's manager and myself, this has been Riverfront Territory, a show on the Foul Territory Network. Thanks for joining us.